what it means to engage in an investigation and a search for the truth, having been a part of investigations to determine what has happened, and in particular, if a crime has occurred. Now, let's be clear about one thing. There's been a lot of conflation around here about the subject and the need for an investigation into Dr. Ford's allegations. Ours was not a search to determine whether a crime occurred. Ours was not a search to determine whether we had enough facts to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that a crime had occurred. No, ours was an investigation to figure out enough about what happened to determine if Brett Kavanaugh is fit to serve on the highest court in our land. Is he fit to be a jurist in the place where we have said justice in our country occurs? In the House, where we listen to evidence and truth and make determinations based on the veracity and the truthfulness of what has occurred. That is our role when it comes to Dr. Ford's allegations. And we fell short. We fell short. We did not do her justice. We did not do the American people justice. We were given 1 week to investigate. The Republicans said, you'll get 1 week. They threw out 1 week, an arbitrary amount of time. And in less than 1 week, we are presented with paltry documents. There was not, clearly, when the White House directed the FBI to do its work, it appears from everything I've seen, the FBI was not permitted to look at all of the allegations. That's clear to me. It is clear that the White House did not permit the FBI to request Mark Judge's Safeway employment records. It is clear from everything I have seen, the White House did not permit the FBI to investigate the dishonest testimony of Brett Kavanaugh or to examine and listen to the evidence that would have been provided by a list of over 24 witnesses that would have been at the very least able to corroborate or deny the allegations that were made. This was not a meaningful investigation into the allegations that are before us. And this, most importantly, was not a search for the truth. Media outlets have reported that there are more than 40 people with potential relevant information who are willing to share their information, but only 9 people were interviewed. This is a travesty. They did not interview the Georgetown Prep alumni or others from that era who contradict Kavanaugh's testimony. They did not interview Dr. Ford's husband or a number of her friends who she told of the assault before Kavanaugh's nomination. They did not interview the former FBI special agent who conducted Dr. Ford's polygraph. They did not interview Kavanaugh's roommate at Yale, who has contradicted Kavanaugh's testimony. They did not interview another one of Kavanaugh's neighbors in the dorm at Yale. They did not interview 3 of Kavanaugh's friends from Yale, who wrote in the Washington Post just last night, quote, Brett also belonged to a Yale senior secret society called Truth and Courage. We believe that Brett neither tells the former nor embodies the latter, end quote. They did not interview Dr. Ford at all. They did not interview Dr. Ford at all. Did not give her the ability to speak her truth during this so-called investigation. And they did not interview Judge Kavanaugh about these allegations. This was not a search for the truth. This was not an investigation. This was an abdication of responsibility and duty. And this on the heels of a process that began with hiding more than 90% of Judge Kavanaugh's record. We only received approximately 400,000 pages out of an estimated 6.9 million pages of documents. The Republicans have been saying, oh, you should be happy you received thousands of pages of documents, because they want us to treat crumbs on the table like it's a feast. These were crumbs on the table compared to the vast amount of information that is available to some about his background. This process has left the American people with more questions than answers. This has not been a search for the truth. The minimum standard for a Supreme Court nominee should be someone who we are confident will demonstrate impartiality, integrity, and truthfulness. But the nominee we are voting on has not demonstrated those qualities. Every American is entitled to the benefit of the doubt, but nobody is entitled to a seat on the United States Supreme Court.